Hello, hello, and good day, everybody. It's me, the Fresh Baked Niche again. I, I just wanted to say that by the time you're watching this, I'm probably down several $100s at the casino. I'm on a vacation. My buddy's turning 30, and he wanted to go drinking and gambling. So, wish us luck. Although, you know, I know my luck, and it's yikes. Anyways, I thought it'd be cool to talk about museums today because I like museums. I think they're neat, and I thought I'd talk about some of the standout ones and just. I mean, I might not have names for them all, but I can at least tell you the experience and how it made me feel. So, I mean, first and foremost, when I was a kid, we had this interactive museum near my house. I think they're still a thing, but the problem is, God, they got bad. So first of all, it was one of those like science museums where it was like, oh, come like learn about iron filings and how they're magnetic by pushing a button and watching them like jiggle around to a song because we time magnets or something, or stand in the middle of this ring and pull up on this rope and ooh, look, you're encased in a bubble. Isn't that cool? It was a lot of that kind of stuff, and it was great. I mean, especially as a kid, it was just awesome to have that as a an option and something you could do. And as an adult, or I should say, as I was getting older, it was equally as cool because like they had a IMAX theater. I was able to see, funny enough, like Night at the Museum. I think two or three, something like that. So they had those opportunities, but even better, sometime around I think middle school, high school, somewhere in there, probably high school. They started doing like themed exhibits, and I remember they had like a dinosaur one where they had some actual fossils and they had some like scale models. And I mean, at least what we know now with dinosaurs, like they aren't perfect, but at least back then it was just so cool. My favorite thing about that though was I remember they had a like a video game thing you could do where you like picked a role of a dinosaur. You could be like an herbivore or carnivore or whatever, and you would just walk around the whatever period they were from, and you just kind of engaged in the world. You could attack other dinos. You could just like graze and eat, and I mean it was like timered, and I mean you didn't have long, but it was still cool. So I mean that was a great thing. Although I think my favorite exhibit they did was the alien exhibit. They had like mock aliens, and then I think the more interesting bit was like air quote aliens from our world, and they had like a thing where you could see actual live tardigrades and tapeworms and stuff, and you could just get an idea of like, yeah, there's some really funky stuff on this planet. And that was so cool. And I wish they would do that kind of stuff nowadays because I know, okay, it's been a minute now and I'm starting to realize how long it's been, but I have been more recently, like within the past, let's just say 5 years, and it was not great. Like a lot of the stuff didn't work the way it was supposed to. They had this thing where you're supposed to interact on this like table, and I think it was supposed to like each. It was like a bunch of different programs, and they would teach you about different things. But part of the trick was like, ooh, look how you can interact with this surface, and the projector is connected to it in such a way that it does this stuff, and it was supposed to be cool. It like barely ran, and then like two of us touched something at the same time, and it literally like crashed the program, and it was just stuck on a Windows desktop with some error that wouldn't go away. And it was like, oh, this sucks. And I mean, we complained about it to the front desk before we left. We were like, hey, a lot of your stuff like doesn't work or whatever. And they were like, oh well, here's some tickets for the next time you come. And then we just we never went back. So that's a shame, but I mean, there's other ones out there. The next one I'd like to talk about that I thought was really cool is the Franklin Institute. Same exact concept. That one's out in Philadelphia, and it's no, that one's even better. It's a bigger space. They got a lot more going on. The rooms are themed to whatever you're doing because I know they have like, ooh, here's a thing on like the human body and how like your different parts operate, or like how your vision processes things in the world, and it looks like you're inside of a body, and it's that's cool. And I only found out about this place because a couple years ago they did a Marvel exhibit where you could go and see props from the film. You could see like early scripts. It was like this whole big thing, and that was definitely the focus, but the bonus was the fact that the museum was there and it's really cool. And I've been once or twice since. It's a really nice place. Honestly, if you're ever in town for that, definitely stop by. Once again, that's in Philadelphia. And I should say I'm not sponsored, but man, it's so worth it. So outside of that, what was that one? I forget the name right now, but there was a really cool one down in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I forget the name, but it's like right within the town, and it's next to the Native American Museum. That, first of all, the Native American Museum was cool, but I think the one next to it was even better. There was some interactive stuff, which I know is not like crucial, but I think the fact that it was able to be more diverse in what they were showing you with the art and everything else, like it added to it. But definitely I would say check both of them out. I know we had like a free day last year. We went after Gen Con. We were done for the day and we were like, oh, let's go check out the museums. They're both really good and they're like literally right next to each other. I would definitely highly recommend going to them. But you know, when I was younger, something else that was really cool was going down to DC and checking out the mall. And for those unaware, the mall is just a run of museums. The like Air and Space, the Natural History. Those were so cool. I mean, they were big, elaborate. The displays were always done really well. The artifact specimens and so on and so forth were pristine and just amazing to look at. I really need to get back down there again. Supposedly, I don't know if it's still there or not, but one of my mom's friends, that friend's grandmother has a quilt that's in the African History Museum, which we still haven't seen yet since that thing's been erected. But you know, we do want to make the time and get down there and check it out, because you know it's been a while. I'm sure they've updated some stuff, and I'm just curious how it is. Although, frankly, I like to stay away from DC. It's been just not a good time down there for feels like a couple years. And honestly, I haven't been since high school. We took a class trip, got to check out the museum while that was still a thing. That was a cool one. It talked about the history of like journalism and news. And first and only time I've been to a museum where they had like a smelly thing where it was like, oh, open this flap and smell it and see what it's like. And it was shit like gunpowder and sewage. And the idea was like, these are the smells that a journalist smells. And it's like, I think it depends on the journalist, bud. Not for nothing, but IGN journalists just get to sit in a room and fuck off and not do good at games. But, you know, to each their own. That was a good time, though. I had a really, really good time with that trip. But I think to wrap it up, and I know it's a bit of a stretch for museums, but I went to Germany a couple years ago. And first of all, it was a beautiful country back then. And I don't know what it's like now. Haven't been. But I should say I haven't been in a while. Point being, most of the churches that we went into, because I'm not a religious guy. Now, if you are religious in any capacity, that is great for you. I've tried it. It's not my favorite thing. And I don't want to bash it. People have a right to believe. But I would like to say I went into as many churches as I could because the architecture was just astounding. And just the feeling you got from sitting in some of those rooms was just, you felt something, or at least I felt something. But one of the bigger things for me was a number of these churches basically had museums built into them. The one was a little upsetting. It was a lot of like caskets and stuff from, you know, people, but for that one it was rough because there was a lot of like children caskets, which is just upsetting, you know, to see that and understand like that was a kid. But I think the cooler ones were like, I know there was this one, it was like not too spectacular of a church, but you walk down and there was like this crazy Matrix looking series of hallways underneath, and they had like armaments and, you know, shields and helmets and stuff from generations past, and it was so cool just to get up in person and see that stuff. And I mean, the way it was structured, you were probably within a foot of each object. Like, it was just right there, and it was so cool. And if I ever get the chance to go back, crossing my fingers, hopefully soon, I'd love to try to track one of those places down again and just try to look at that stuff again, because that was, it was wild. But it's I think that's the beauty of museums. They hold on to things, they keep them nice, they give us as humans an opportunity to look at our past, look at what was, and just see I guess the world from maybe different perspectives, because I mean, you don't have to travel the world for that necessarily. And depending on if you have that ability to go somewhere and, I mean, even learn about your local area, I would say jump on that, do it. It's cool. And yeah, I think that's about to do it for this episode. So thank you for listening to me ramble. If you enjoyed it, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. It certainly helps out the channel and lets me know what people are interested in. And other than that, I hope you all have a good day, and goodbye.